Welcome to Studio Mix. We're in San Francisco, California. This is Movement of the Week. I'm Johnny.
I'm Vincent.
Last week we discussed depth jumps, plyometrics. Today we're moving on to
the back squat. So we're going to be going over the high bar and the low bar position of back squatting and how it relates to what you want to do.
We're kind of connecting the dots here. Last time was plyometrics, which is pretty clear. We're helping you become more explosive, coming off the ground faster. But the squat's really important too with regards to athleticism and that explosiveness.
Yep, learning how to absorb force, learning how to power out of the hole and have some strong hips. Strong hips equals a higher vertical.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, how to rack the bar for a proper back squat. So there's two ways to do it. Traditionally what you'll see is the high bar squat. And what that looks like, the bar sits high on the traps, your elbows go back, and you create a nice little shelf for you to get that bar onto your back. So the second position that you're going to use is the low bar squat. And what that looks like is instead of racking the bar high on the traps, you'll actually put your hands a little bit wider and bring the bar onto the back of your shoulder blades and have it sit right behind the shoulders. So it sits much lower, so it's going to require a little bit more shoulder mobility to get into that position.
Alright, so we went over the low and high bar rack position on the back of squatting. What are the advantages of going high bar or low bar rack?
So in a high bar position, there's typically more carryovers to athletic movements. And in the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and in a lot of other sports, typically the high bar position is used. You squat to full depth, you use the full range of motion of your knees and your hips and your ankles, and then when you come back up, basically the wider range of motion, the harder it is.
And a huge thing too is like when you talk about the carryover, your chest was taller, so it's a little more applicable to translating into general athletics.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Because no one jumps with their face facing the floor. So what you'll commonly see is a low bar squatting in powerlifting, where the sole purpose is an athletic carryover, it's just to move as much weight as possible.
Yeah, and the huge change, there's no better or worse, it's like what are you applying for? You know, if you want to go, if you're looking at your squat and you're looking at pure numbers and wanting to feel stronger for yourself, then going wider and going that low bar position may be more applicable.
It can be nitpicked down to a very small bit.
There's so much to say about this. And even with the low bar position, we were talking too about foot position, generally you go wider then too. So you're looking for it's a shorter range of motion in that low bar.
Absolutely.
Squat.
So because of how far the bar sits down in your shoulders, you're shifting the center of gravity further back, which allows you to create a shorter range of motion necessary. It's just like excessively arching your chest.
When you're doing chest press, exactly right.
Takeaway is just squat.
Just squat. Try the low bar, high bar rack position. Totally, two different squats. So remember, when you're going low bar, you're leaning forward, pitch forward a little bit more, you may be a little wider. The high bar rack position, you'll be a little narrower with your feet, you'll be more upright with your chest. All right, so Vince and I, we love snatching. So next week, what are we going over?
We'll be going over the kettlebell snatch. So single arm variation of kettlebell snatch, and then we'll maybe throw in a double arm if you feeling saucy.
So single or double arm snatch coming to you next week with kettlebell. Thanks for joining us. This is Movements of the Week. Leave comments so we can respond to you next time, week by week by week by week.